Hi guys, and welcome back to OG Cars, and in today's video you join us for finally a car purchase. Now it's been about half a year, which is crazy because I've been getting withdrawals. I'm normally buying cars all the time, and this year I've been very sensible and haven't bought anything at all. That is until now. G and I have bought something together. Now you may have noticed in the Trabant video that we said we bought a trailer and we need something to pull that trailer. So we looked far and wide and found all sorts of cars, and well, we went to see something which was a little bit different. It may not look quite so different at the moment. This may just look like a regular Renault Laguna estate, but let me just tell you, there's a little twist. So we set about trying to find a tow car for our trailer. Now, this car doesn't actually have a tow bar yet, so we'll just gloss over that fact a little bit, but we will come back and sort a tow bar for this car at some point. It's certainly more than capable of pulling it, but more on that a little bit later on. So how do we get to this point? Well, we looked at various cars on various different sites. Now I wanted something a little bit quirky, so I was looking at like Maestro 2.0Ds and stuff like that, something that can tow but is quirky, but we kind of need something a bit inconspicuous for work. Now Penny was inconspicuous, really nice modern daily, really good condition, and we've loved having Penny, but unfortunately she's having to go. We'll do a video on that at some point soon. So the search continued. What could we find? Well, we shortlisted a few cars to have a little look at. So there was a V70, quite local. There was an XC70, which I really quite like, which was a little bit further away. But yeah, really like those. There was a Peugeot 308 SW, a little bit higher budget, but actually really quite like that car. So that was a consideration. And then this Renault Laguna with an interesting combination, which we'll look at in just a moment. But we went to go and see the 308 SW actually. We were on the way there and G decided to do a car check, as you should do when you're going to buy a car. And unfortunately, we found out it was actually a write-off, and the person who was selling it was not very honest with me. And, we sort of tried to discuss it and said, we would still consider it, but there would have to be some consideration in price, and they didn't want to work with it, so fair enough. We decided to divert. We were literally round the corner at that point from this Laguna. So I'll bring G in now, who will tell you a little bit more about this particular car.
So yes, I am the one who found this Laguna, probably because it was an 04 plate, so an early 2000s car, and I thought it's a little bit different, it's a little bit interesting, mainly because of the engine. But we were a bit like, do we want something a bit newer? And then we had the issue with the 308, and as Owen said, this was literally around the corner from where we were. So we messaged the guy back, went to go and see it, and he was lovely, he was really cooperative. He gave us a bit off of the asking price as well, and it's had some work done just before we bought it as well, which is always a positive. But let's just show you what's behind my leg. This is a V6 Renault Laguna, and when Owen was saying at the start that we wanted something fuel efficient and good for work and everything, I feel like we've done the complete opposite, because we saw a V6 and went, yeah, let's have a V6. And here it is. Under the engine bay lies the Renault V6. Now supposedly it is derived from the Clio V6. I don't know how true that is, but everything online says that, so I'm going to say it is. But it's a 2946 V6 with 24 valves. Big engine, not great on MPG, which was one of the points that me and Owen wanted, but we saw that and we went, we'll take it. I think it's about 204 brake horsepower for your power, and it's about 285 newton meters of torque, so it really pulls you along. It's quite a fast car actually. But yeah, it definitely didn't tick the box that we said of having good MPG. We've only had it 24 hours, so I can't actually say if it's really good or really bad, but I can't imagine that it's going to exceed our expectations, considering that's the engine that's under the bonnet. But yeah, let's have a little look around it, and we'll also tell you why this is probably one of the rarest cars we own that we've accidentally bought because we wanted a tow car.
So you'd be forgiven for thinking that your father has just come home in 2004 with his nice new company car, but we wanted something that was ULEZ compliant. Now that may surprise some of you, this V6 is ULEZ compliant. Nope, you don't want a nice economical diesel doing 60-70 mpg, you want a fuel guzzling V6. That'll get you around London. So that's another reason why we chose it. Now the tax is a little bit on the higher side, so I'm going to wince a little bit, and the MPG, yeah, I'm going to wince a little bit. And admittedly, we don't go into the ULEZ that much either, but we are doing an airport run fairly soon, and we do Bristol airport runs fairly often, especially for other people as well. So, it'll do that, and we don't have to pay those particular charges. So, fair enough. But this car is actually really super rare, as G has mentioned. Now, we looked at the logbook, and if you go off the little name on there and you type in how many left on, I know it's not quite always very reliable, but this particular car shows as one of 4, 2 on the road and 2 on Son. That's pretty rare. Now there's a few other boxes that this car did tick. Now it's an estate. Now I'm not saying I hate SUVs, but I hate SUVs, so it had to be an estate. We loved our Fabric Forum estate, and you know, we've had other estates before. It had to be. It's just practical. You can throw your stuff in, you can do the tip runs. Great, fantastic. It also ticked the box of being really quite cheap. The 308 we were looking at was like 4 grand. Now this was basically a grand. So, you know, cheap and cheerful. That's what we like. And yeah, it's another ethos of the channel. So there we are. And the third thing is the spec. So let's have a little look around and see what we've got here. So G was at the front of the car and she was sold when she saw the V6 in the engine bay. I was sold when I saw this. Wow, split tailgate. That's so cool. I didn't even know that these had this. And you know what? It's a little bit quirky. It's a little bit different. Cool. I'm really hoping you can see this on camera because sometimes this car just looks black, but it is actually green. And you've got a really nice fleck in this paint. Now, admittedly, it was a cheap car. The paintwork isn't perfect, but that's still pretty cool. Obviously, you can tell everyone you've got a V6 24 valve with your little your side trim piece here. But another swanky little feature, these cool wheels. Now, they're not like the most groundbreaking wheels in the world, but it's a Laguna. They're pretty cool. It's also got some roof rails, so if you ever want to stick like, I don't know, 2 Eastern Bloc bikes or a Sinclair C5 on top, then great. And if not, it's just stylish. Cool. And now a few things in one. Firstly, we've got this seat arrangement, which is sort of like half leather style with an almost swanky style fabric. Now, it could be confetti, that would be cool. But you know what? We'll live with that. The next thing is the key. It is the classic key card. You either love it or hate it. I quite like it actually. And it says Laguna. You just slot it in. How cool is that? And the other thing is aircon. This car has aircon and it actually kind of works. So that's got to be a good thing. This car, being the spec it is, also has cruise control with various things on the steering wheel and a nice silky smooth automatic gearbox, and it really is smooth. You barely know that this car is gliding along.
The back is also a really nice place to be. We've noticed that there is a 12 volt down there for the rear passengers, which is funny because there's one hidden in the armrest and there's one in the front as well. There's individual lights for everyone in the back, which I did think were a button, but they are a switch, so it's fine. And cup holders in the armrest. So overall, we're pretty happy with this. And it does also mean we have a 5-seater because when our friends come over, it's a bit of a pain when we've only got 4-seaters and our only 5-seaters are teeny little 90s pandas. So now everyone will have space. Owen's made me sit in the footwell because he forgot to mention stuff. So this, it was open already. Doesn't like to open on itself, but that's where the other 12 volt is as well. And you also press this, which was also already open apparently. And the radio is in there. Unfortunately, the radio doesn't work. You can just go online and get a code for a few quid, but we're going to put a double din in because that's the one thing we really like that we've done on Penny, that we can have sat-nav and everything up when we're driving. And also, wow, a cup holder that flings out. So that's about going to wrap it up for this video because in complete honesty, we're just sharing with you our first thoughts. We've only owned this car for 24 hours as a film in this video, so we don't know everything about it and we haven't learnt all its quirks and all its features, even though we have really gone through it with you on this video today. Like, we literally learnt about the cup holders in the rear just now. But something else we just mentioned before I go off on another tangent is it's got the xenon headlights at the front. Is that an option? I have no idea, but they're there. But what are our thoughts on this car as of now? It was well priced. We think it ticks the box for being something that's cool, a little bit quirky, definitely rare considering how many left, that's for sure. And we do actually really like it. We like the colour. We mainly like the styling. We like the front. We like that it's an estate. We don't know if we're totally sold on the rear end of it, but it's growing on us the more that it's in our possession, which is 24 hours at this point, but you know, it's fine. It's growing on us a little bit more, and we really like the interior. It's comfortable, cruises along so nicely, and it's got all the features that we would need if we want to take it on a longer run. Will we be crying in 6 months' time when we look at how much we spent on fuel and the fact that we're averaging minimal MPG? Maybe, but we feel like we've compensated for that with the price we've paid for the car and everything else. We're really happy that we managed to get a V6. In fact, this is Owen's first V6, and it'd be quite cool once I've got the Nissan on the road to have 2 V6s, which hopefully is also coming soon. But that's going to be it for today on the Laguna. We're really happy with our purchase. Let us know what you guys think in the comments, and if you've got any questions about the car, we'll try our best to reply to them. As I say, we've only just bought it, so we're still learning, but another rare car joins the channel. I don't know how much you'll see of it because it is ultimately just going to be a daily tow car. But yeah, we're happy. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one.